What if humanity's oldest secrets were carved into stone and left waiting in the dark, beyond the silent gates of ancient Sumer, under skies unchanged for millennia, temples still whisper of gods, lost knowledge, and powers long forgotten? Every step deeper into the shadows feels like trespassing into a truth meant to last forever or never be found at all. Amid the lush green hills of Longyou County, Zhejiang Province, China, lies a structure deep underground whose existence had been completely forgotten by the world for millennia. This is the Longyou Caves, a massive man-made cave system discovered entirely by chance in 1992 when a local resident decided to drain a small pond to raise fish. No one expected that beneath the still waters would open up a vast space carved with such precision that it astonished both archaeologists and modern engineers alike. What do you think about the fact that a colossal wonder like the Longyou Caves could be forgotten for thousands of years, only to be discovered entirely by chance? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The scale and construction techniques of the Longyou Caves truly surpass imagination when compared to any other ancient underground structure. The system consists of at least 24 chambers, each reaching heights of around 30 meters, with floor areas stretching to thousands of square meters, all carved directly into solid, monolithic sandstone. The total volume of stone removed is estimated at hundreds of thousands of cubic meters, an enormous figure considering that the entire process was carried out using only ancient hand tools. Even more impressive, every surface of the walls and ceilings is covered with perfectly parallel carved lines resembling the cut marks of modern industrial machinery, but in reality, the result of millions of painstaking chisel strikes executed with astonishing precision. This required not only master-level craftsmanship, but also the ability to maintain perfect consistency, along with meticulous measurement and orientation planning to ensure straight alignment and uniform depth across such vast surfaces, a task that would be nearly impossible with the technology available at the time. One of the most puzzling aspects for archaeologists studying the Longyou Caves is that no trace of rock debris or waste from the excavation process has ever been found. With the volume of stone removed, estimated at hundreds of thousands of cubic meters, the surrounding area should logically contain evidence of spoil heaps or auxiliary quarry sites, yet none exist. The complete disappearance of this material raises difficult questions. Where was it taken, how, and for what purpose? The mystery deepens further when we consider that there are no historical records or ancient documents mentioning such a massive project, even though, in theory, a construction requiring such manpower and technical skill would surely have been recorded in official chronicles or local archives. What makes the Longyou Caves one of China's greatest archaeological mysteries is that their age and the identity of their builders remain completely unknown. Some researchers based on architectural style and signs of stone weathering speculate that the structure may have been created during the Qin dynasty around the 3rd century BCE. However, others argue that it could be more than 2,000 years old, possibly belonging to a prehistoric civilization never recorded in official history. The biggest problem is that no organic material such as wood bone or artifacts suitable for radiocarbon dating has ever been found inside the caves. Without this crucial data, every attempt to determine their age has reached a dead end. This absence of information has given rise to numerous theories, ranging from a military installation or the secret treasury of a dynasty to the last surviving remnant of an ancient civilization that vanished long ago. The true purpose of the Longyou Caves remains an open question, despite many theories being proposed. The most common view suggests that it was built by a powerful dynasty in Chinese history, intended for military purposes or as a secret storage facility. However, upon investigation, researchers found no traces of weapons, military tools, or defensive systems features typically present in military structures. Another theory claims that these caves were once used for religious ceremonies linked to rituals that have since been lost. Yet contradicting this idea, the walls and ceilings bear no carving statues or religious symbols, which are almost always found in ancient sacred sites. The absence of such evidence makes determining the original function of the structure all the more difficult and mysterious. Some researchers have boldly proposed the theory that the Longyou Caves may belong to a civilization far older than any ever recorded in Chinese history. This civilization may have possessed advanced construction techniques, enabling them to create massive caves with near-perfect precision, yet vanished completely before leaving any clear trace in the archaeological record. If this theory is correct, the Longyou Caves could be a solitary relic, existing in isolation with no direct connection to any known archaeological culture, like a misplaced fragment of history that both fascinates and frustrates scientists in their attempts to decipher it. One of the factors that makes the Longyou Caves so remarkable is their near-perfect state of preservation after thousands of years. The caves have retained their original shape, with no major collapses, almost no large cracks, and no long-term flooding. This suggests that the builders not only mastered stone quarrying techniques, but also possessed a deep understanding of geological structures, knowing how to select the right location, calculate load-bearing directions, and reinforce the structure so it could endure over time. Their waterproofing ability is equally astonishing, as many chambers remain dry, despite the relatively high groundwater levels in the area, hinting at a level of engineering skill far beyond what we typically attribute to ancient civilizations. One particularly intriguing aspect of the Longyou Caves is that all the chambers feature the same type of carved patterns on their walls and ceilings, consisting of evenly spaced parallel lines with uniform depth and distance. This uniformity suggests they were built to a common standard, likely during the same period, or by the same group of skilled craftsmen. To create a series of caves with identical design and technique, the ancient builders must have had detailed plans, precise measurement methods, and a high level of construction management, something rarely seen in large-scale ancient structures. Today, the Longyou Caves have become a famous destination for tourism and research. Yet year after year, the questions of their age and builders remain unanswered. No one knows exactly who they were, where they came from, or why they invested such vast manpower and time into this colossal project without leaving a single written record. This turns the Longyou Caves into not just an archaeological site, but also an intellectual challenge for the entire scientific community. Amid overlapping theories and scattered fragments of information, the Longyou Caves still stand, silent, majestic, and mysterious, like a message from the past to the present. Perhaps to solve this mystery, humanity will need not only advanced technology, but also patience, waiting for more archaeological discoveries to piece together the full picture of the history hidden beneath the land of China. Across the Japanese archipelago, from the northern forests of Hokkaido to the southern valleys of Kyushu, archaeologists have discovered tens of thousands of small yet peculiar clay figurines. They bear human-like forms, but nothing like any human we know: large heads, oversized goggle-like eyes, short, thick bodies, and intricate patterns running over their entire surface. The Japanese call them Dogū, meaning earthen figures. The dog date throughout the Jomon period, 14,300 BCE, with their most remarkable craftsmanship occurring in the later stages around 1400 BCE. By then, the Jomon people had developed sophisticated clay firing techniques, enabling them to create works not only of unique appearance, but also of exceptional durability, surviving for thousands of years. From an artistic perspective, the Dogū stand as proof of timeless creativity. From an archaeological standpoint, they are an unsolved mystery. What makes the Dogū particularly fascinating is not just their strange appearance, but their function, a major question that still fuels intense debate among researchers. No written records from the Jomon survive to explain the true purpose of these figurines. All we have are clues from excavation sites, form wear marks, and comparisons with other ancient cultures. What do you think these Dogū figurines were truly created for? A religious symbol, a ritual effigy, or perhaps something far beyond our imagination? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Although Dogū figurines mimic the human body, they are depicted with entirely unusual features, seemingly intentionally departing from natural proportions. Some have triangular heads, bulging eyes as if about to pop out, or rounded bodies with excessively exaggerated hips and chests. The most notable is the Shakoki dog Zheguangqitu, the snow goggle dog, with enormous almond-shaped eyes that almost cover the entire face, evoking images of masks or protective headgear worn by hunters in icy regions. These elements are unlikely to be mere decorative choices. They carry symbolic weight, potentially holding religious or ritual significance. Intricate carved patterns cover their bodies, spirals, curves, and designs resembling straps, garments, or even armor. Some Dogū appear to be wearing tight-fitting suits, with technical seam-like lines, leading some modern researchers to compare them to spacesuits, further heightening their mysterious allure and the debates over what might have inspired the Jomon people. More than 18,000 Dogū artifacts have been unearthed across Japan, appearing in various contexts, from ancient settlements and cemeteries to ritual pits. What is striking is that most are no longer intact. Many are broken, shattered, or missing arms, legs, or heads. Upon analysis, archaeologists have determined that these breaks were not caused by the wear of time or accidental damage, but rather seem to have been intentional acts by ancient people. A common theory suggests that breaking the figurines was a symbolic ritual. When a prayer or ceremonial purpose had been fulfilled, the figure serving as a stand-in for a person or spirit would be released through the act of snapping or smashing it. This indicates that Dogū were not merely static objects of worship, but part of a living ritual cycle intrinsically tied to their creation, use, and eventual deliberate destruction. One of the theories most discussed by archaeologists suggests that Dogū were used in fertility and health protection rituals. Many figurines have distinctly swollen bellies, and their chests and hips are exaggerated features commonly associated with fertility and the continuation of the lineage. This style of depiction has led researchers to draw parallels with the Venus figurines of Europe's Stone Age, which are widely regarded as fertility symbols. In addition, some Dogū show signs of injury or include details resembling bandages, giving rise to the theory that they may have served as healing effigies. The Jomon people may have believed that performing actions on the figurine, such as applying bandages or carving healing symbols, could help cure the real person. Once the patient recovered, the figurine would be destroyed as a closing ritual, both to release the effigy and to affirm the success of the ceremony. What makes the Dogū hold a special place among Japan's most mysterious artifacts is the complete absence of a definitive explanation. To this day, no one knows for certain whether they represented deities, ancestors, shamans, or some other abstract concept. The shapes and styles of Dogū vary significantly across regions from Hokkaido to Kyushu, making it nearly impossible to determine a single unified function. Furthermore, they existed for thousands of years during the Jomon period, a span long enough for their meanings and uses to have changed many times. A Dogū created in Hokkaido in the 10th century BCE could have carried entirely different symbolism, rituals, or roles from one made in Kyushu in the 4th century BCE. This layering of time and geography has made Dogū a challenging subject for researchers, while preserving their enigmatic allure across millennia. One fringe theory, particularly in the realm of pseudo-archaeology, suggests that the Dogū are evidence that the Jomon people once had contact with extraterrestrial beings. Proponents of this idea often point to the enormous goggle-like eyes, the rounded heads with helmet-like tops, and the body patterns resembling mechanical details or high-tech suits. They believe the Jomon depicted visitors from the sky through clay artistry. However, mainstream archaeologists reject this notion, viewing it as a modern interpretation imposed upon an ancient artistic style that was in fact shaped by indigenous beliefs and symbolism. Still, it cannot be denied that the image of the Dogū continues to spark intense imagination. The large, vacant eyes that seem to be watching something beyond human comprehension, and this very quality has helped the Dogū maintain their enigmatic allure for millennia. Today, the Dogū are not only subjects of archaeological study, but have also become a unique cultural symbol of Japan. The image of these clay figurines appears in many fields, from contemporary art and handcrafted design to film, manga, anime, and video games. Many creators draw inspiration from the Dogū to craft mysterious characters or use them as symbols, evoking an ancient civilization. At the Tokyo National Museum and numerous local museums, Dogū are displayed as vivid proof of the deep history and enduring creativity of the Jomon people. Yet the biggest question, what were the Dogū truly made for, remains unanswered. This long silence, lasting for millennia, has turned them into clay witnesses of a vanished culture carrying secrets that time has yet to unveil. High on the windswept Bolivian Altiplano, where the air is thin and the horizon seems endless, lies a place wrapped in legend and unanswered questions, the ancient city of Tiwanaku. This was once the beating heart of a powerful civilization, a hub of politics, religion, and art that flourished long before the rise of the Inca. Today, its once mighty temples and plazas stand as silent stone witnesses to a past we can barely glimpse. Yet among these weathered ruins, one monument commands the gaze more than any other, a massive solitary arch carved from a single block of stone, known to the world as the Gate of the Sun. It is more than an entrance. It is a riddle in stone, hinting at forgotten knowledge and a cosmic vision that transcends time. What do you think the Gate of the Sun was truly meant for? Was it a ceremonial portal, an astronomical marker, or something entirely beyond our understanding? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective might unlock a new angle to this enduring mystery. The Gate of the Sun is not merely a simple stone block with a rectangular passageway. It is a symbolic monument carved from a single solid block of andesite, weighing about 10 tons, standing over 3 meters high and more than 4 meters wide. Remarkably, the entire block was cut with near-perfect precision, smooth, flat surfaces, crisp edges, balanced proportions, and clear, evenly executed relief carvings. This level of craftsmanship raises a profound question for researchers. What tools, techniques, and methods did the Tiwanaku people use to cut, transport, and erect such a massive stone on the Altiplano Plateau at over 3,800 meters above sea level under harsh climatic conditions thousands of years ago. It remains a technical mystery without a complete answer. At the center of the Gate of the Sun's facade stands a prominent relief believed to depict Viracocha, the supreme creator deity in Andean mythology, with a stern face and a headdress radiating beams of light or sun-like rays. Surrounding him are 24 smaller figures arranged symmetrically, each with distinct appearances and actions. Some hold staffs or objects resembling ceremonial weapons, while others bear bird or animal features, suggesting a connection between the human-animal and divine realms. These motifs are carved with high precision and appear to follow a strict underlying order. Many researchers believe they represent not only religious symbolism, but also a sophisticated astronomical calendar, reflecting the cycles of the Sun or Venus, used to mark time, agricultural seasons, and important Tiwanaku ceremonies. The most debated and captivating mystery of the Gate of the Sun does not lie in its craftsmanship or intricate carvings, but in its origin and original location. Today, the monument stands alone, in the Tiwanaku site, completely detached from any surrounding structures, as if it had been placed here after being removed from a larger complex. This anomaly has led many scholars to believe that the gate is not in its original position. They wonder, was it once part of a ceremonial complex or a temple aligned with astronomical events, later moved by natural disasters, warfare, or for some other reason that history has since erased? One widely supported theory among researchers suggests that the Gate of the Sun was once part of a larger, more elaborate structure, possibly a sun temple or an important ceremonial architectural complex. Over time, geological upheavals such as earthquakes, the harsh erosion of the highland climate, or human intervention caused most of the structure to collapse or be dismantled. Thanks to being carved from a massive single block of stone, the gate remains standing, surviving to this day as a rare remnant of the entire lost construction. Some archaeologists point out that the rear surface of the gate shows signs of breakage, as if it was once attached to a wall or another stone structure. This further supports the theory that the Gate of the Sun was never designed to stand alone in an open space. Furthermore, the Tiwanaku were known for their sophisticated urban planning, often aligning their structures to precise astronomical axes. The fact that such a symbolic monument now stands in a position unrelated to the sunrise or sunset is highly unusual. It may have been moved from its original coordinates, but how and why? Several theories have been proposed to explain why the Gate of the Sun now stands alone in Tiwanaku rather than as part of a larger architectural complex. The first theory suggests that intense geological activity, particularly earthquakes on the Altiplano, destroyed the original structure. In that case, the gate may have toppled and shifted from its original foundation, later being re-erected by local inhabitants or successor civilizations at its current location without following the original orientation and design. The second theory points to the possibility of deliberate dismantling. After the Tiwanaku civilization declined, their successors or invading groups may have dismantled structures to reuse the stone for construction or rituals, with the Gate of the Sun preserved for its special symbolic value and placed in a new location as a marker of power or faith. The boldest theory of all suggests that the gate did not originally belong to Tiwanaku at all, but was transported from an even older site belonging to a pre-Tiwanaku civilization. If true, it could be the legacy of a far more mysterious society whose stoneworking techniques and symbolic systems have been completely lost. Each theory opens a new path of research, yet none has been fully proven, leaving the mystery of the Gate of the Sun's relocation an unanswered question in archaeology. Not knowing the gate's original location makes all interpretations complex. If it was once part of a structure aligned to astronomical events, its relocation would distort all observational data. Conversely, if its current location is original, we must explain why the Tiwanaku chose to place such an important religious astronomical symbol in a spot seemingly unconnected to other monuments. This ambiguity creates a historical gap, and it is precisely this gap that compels both researchers and the public to keep searching for answers. Every detail, from cracks in the stone weathering patterns to the arrangement of carvings, could hold the key to a story buried for millennia. Even without certainty about its origin and placement, the Gate of the Sun remains a testament to the skill, artistry, and cosmic vision of the Tiwanaku people. It combines monolithic architecture, intricate carving, and profound religious astronomical thought. For the modern world, it is not just an archaeological relic, but a symbol of the connection between humanity and the cosmos. Looking at the Gate of the Sun, we see not only stone and carvings, but also an unfinished story, one that each generation attempts to continue drawing from the few clues that remain. Perhaps one day, we will discover where it originally stood, why it was built, and the true message the Tiwanaku stonemasons intended. Until then, it will remain silent, majestic, and mysterious, a challenge to human curiosity. Beneath the endless golden dunes of Oman's Rub al-Khali, the empty quarter where life seems impossible, lie deep silent shafts carved into the earth. These ancient wells, weathered by centuries of wind and sand, once drew life-giving water from hidden aquifers far below. But to archaeologists, they are more than engineering marvels of survival. They are breadcrumbs leading to one of history's most tantalizing enigmas, the fabled city of Ubar, said to have risen in splendor, ruled the desert's trade, and then vanished, as if swallowed by the earth itself. What do you think really happened to Ubar? Was it swallowed by nature's fury, or is there still a hidden truth buried beneath the sands? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your theory. According to Arab legends and accounts in the Quran, Ubar, or Iram of the Pillars, was once a wealthy, magnificent city with colossal columns rising from the desert. It flourished by controlling the frankincense trade route, yet it was also described as steeped in arrogance and decadence. The legend says that God punished Ubar, causing the entire city to be buried beneath the sands. Images of camel caravans laden with goods, the scent of frankincense drifting in the wind, and the bustling sounds of the ancient marketplace have become a collective memory lasting for millennia. However, for centuries, the true location of Ubar remained only a rumor, until satellite clues opened a new path for its discovery. The ancient wells of Ubar were dug dozens of meters deep, reaching the hidden aquifers beneath the harsh Rub al-Khali desert. Their rims were reinforced with stone or mortar to prevent collapse, reflecting the remarkable engineering skills of the ancient inhabitants. Although water was not always abundant in such an arid environment, it was a priceless lifeline. These wells once served local communities and acted as vital resupply points for frankincense caravans, traveling the trade route linking Yemen and Oman to the Mediterranean. Remarkably, many of them remain almost intact, defying both time and the relentless desert winds. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, NASA researchers used Landsat satellite imagery to trace the routes of ancient caravans crossing the desert. They discovered an unusual pattern from many different directions. Camel tracks all converged on a single point. When archaeologists arrived, they found the ruins of stone structures, ancient wells, and traces of solid architecture. Subsequent excavations revealed a stone fortress and a complex well system, indicating that this place was once a prosperous trade center. Many scholars believe that Shisa is in fact the legendary Ubar. In the harsh conditions of the Rub al-Khali Desert, a city's survival depended entirely on a stable water supply. The wells of Ubar were not merely water-providing structures, but essential resupply stations for caravans carrying frankincense, a commodity more valuable than gold in antiquity. By controlling this water source, Ubar became a strategic hub in the trade network, securing economic power and accumulating wealth which fueled the city's golden age. The mystery surrounding Ubar's collapse is the most debated and captivating part of the entire story. During excavations at Shisa, archaeologists found that many structures showed no signs of destruction by war or fire, but instead appeared to have been swallowed straight into the ground. At the center of the site, a massive sinkhole was revealed, possibly the mouth of a vast underground cavern or an ancient well eroded over time, which had dragged much of the settlement down with it. Geological studies indicate that beneath this area lies a layer of soft limestone easily dissolved by groundwater forming empty karst chambers. When the roofs of these chambers weakened, the entire surface above, along with its structures, collapsed in a sudden event. Strangely, this phenomenon aligns remarkably with the Quranic legend describing Ubar as being buried as a divine punishment. Some scholars suggest that the disaster may have occurred very quickly, forcing residents to flee, after which wind and sand swiftly covered all traces. In a short span of time, a once glorious city had completely vanished from human sight for centuries. Researchers have proposed several theories to explain the collapse and disappearance of Ubar. The first suggests it was the result of natural karst subsidence. The limestone beneath the area is soft and easily dissolved by groundwater, forming massive hollow chambers. When the roofs of these chambers weakened, a large-scale collapse became inevitable. The second theory focuses on over-extraction of water. For centuries, the ancient wells continuously drained the aquifer, reducing the natural supporting pressure and destabilizing the limestone roof. Finally, many experts believe the true cause was a combination of both factors: a geological environment already prone to subsidence, accelerated by human activity, particularly water extraction. Although definitive proof is lacking, all three theories highlight the fragility of the relationship between humans and their environment, where a thriving civilization can be erased by a natural imbalance that developed over millennia. The collapse of Ubar was not only a geological disaster, but also a historical turning point that ended the golden age of a strategic trade hub on the frankincense route. This event reveals the fragile connection between prosperity and the natural environment, especially in harsh climates, where a single geological shift can erase the achievements of generations. Notably, this collapse coincides with descriptions in ancient legends, adding to Ubar's allure and making it one of the most famous Atlantis of the desert stories in both history and archaeology. Today, when setting foot in Shisa, visitors and researchers can witness enormous sinkholes, the ruins of an ancient fortress, and wells that have long since run dry, lying silently amid the sea of sand. The atmosphere here carries a strange, solemn stillness, as if time had frozen at the very moment the city collapsed. The story of Ubar is still told in many different versions, some infused with religious legend, others explained through scientific evidence. Despite the varying interpretations, all agree that this place stands as living proof of nature's power to erase even the most radiant of cities. The mystery of Ubar's collapse not only sparks curiosity, but also serves as a warning about humanity's dependence on the environment and natural resources. A civilization may reach the peak of wealth power and prosperous trade. Yet if resources are exploited unsustainably, especially water, a single, unexpected geological event can erase all traces of its existence. Ubar stands as clear proof that the balance between humanity and nature is fragile, and when that balance is broken, even the most magnificent cities can vanish forever. Beneath the horizon of West Java, Indonesia, where the morning clouds drift low across green mountain slopes, lies a place that has stirred unending debate among archaeologists, historians, and enthusiasts of the mysterious for decades Gunung Padang. From afar, it appears to be just a grassy hill, but as you approach, you see basalt stone terraces stretching upward like a colossal staircase to the summit. Thousands of neatly stacked rectangular blocks, seemingly defying the ravages of time and weather, stand as silent witnesses to a past we have yet to fully comprehend. Gunung Padang is often called the largest megalithic site in Indonesia, but that is only the surface of the story. What makes it extraordinary is not only its scale, but also its controversial age, its multi-layered hidden structure, and above all, its true purpose, a mystery no one has yet solved. So what do you think? Could Gunung Padang have been a ceremonial center, an ancient observatory, or even the last remnant of a forgotten civilization? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your theories. From a traditional archaeological perspective, Gunung Padang is classified as a Neolithic site around 2,000–4,000 years old. But recent studies, particularly those by Dr. Danny Hilman Natawijaja of the Indonesian Geophysical Agency, have shaken this assumption. Sediment and organic material samples taken from deeper layers, analyzed using radiocarbon dating, indicate that parts of the structure could be 9,000 to 20,000 years old, with some results reaching 26,000 years. If accurate, this would make Gunung Padang one of the oldest man-made structures ever discovered, predating the Egyptian pyramids Göbekli Tepe in Turkey and even the end of the last ice age, posing a massive challenge to our current understanding of human civilization's history. One of the most exciting discoveries about Gunung Padang comes from ground-penetrating radar GPR surveys and seismic reflection measurements, which reveal that beneath the current basalt layer lies not just a natural base, but a multi-layered system of artificial structures. Data indicates the presence of underground walls, chamber-like or corridor-like voids, and foundation layers that appear to have been deliberately reinforced. This suggests that Gunung Padang was not a one-time construction, but a complex that was expanded and modified over many millennia. Each generation may have left its mark by adding a new layer, preserving the old foundation, while covering it with new terraces and stone walls. This accumulation raises a major question. Could this place have been in continuous use for an extremely long period of time? And if so, what allowed it to maintain its significance across so many eras? The basalt blocks at Gunung Padang were crafted with astonishing precision. Most are rectangular in shape, with straight edges and flat surfaces, indicating a deliberate cutting process. They are not placed randomly, but arranged in clear patterns, some aligned in long straight rows, others grouped into arcs, forming areas that resemble altars, ceremonial platforms, or observation stages. Notably, many blocks bear tool marks from hard implements, showing a level of precision difficult to explain if relying solely on the technology of prehistoric humans. This refinement has led many researchers to conclude that Gunung Padang could not have been just an ordinary dwelling place, but must have served a special function, requiring skills and purposes far beyond the needs of daily life. Among all the debates surrounding Gunung Padang, the question of its true purpose is the most hotly contested mystery. Unlike ancient settlement sites, that clearly bear traces of daily life, such as house foundations, hearth tools, or human remains, Gunung Padang is entirely devoid of such evidence. Instead, its entire layout of basalt stone terraces and deliberately arranged areas evokes the image of a ceremonial or spiritual space where prehistoric people may have carried out activities of sacred significance rather than everyday living. Many theories have been proposed to explain this. Some researchers believe it may have been a religious ceremonial center where early communities made pilgrimages and held rituals to connect with the divine, taking advantage of its elevated position, open air, and sweeping views towards surrounding mountains and the sky. Others see Gunung Padang as an ancient astronomical observatory in which the arrangement of stones may correspond to the rising and setting positions of the sun-moon, or constellations similar to the principles found at Stonehenge. Another line of thought suggests it could have been a center of power for a lost civilization, serving as a place for gatherings, law-making, or ceremonies to affirm the authority of leaders. Supporters of the lost civilization theory go even further, believing that Gunung Padang is a surviving relic of an advanced prehistoric society wiped out by a global catastrophe, possibly the Great Flood at the end of the Ice Age. However, the biggest problem is that no theory to date can be definitively proven. The absence of concrete artifacts means the true purpose of Gunung Padang remains shrouded in the mists of time, continuing to challenge the interpretive efforts of both archaeologists and the public. The scientific debate surrounding Gunung Padang centers mainly on the age and origin of its deeper layers. Many traditional archaeologists argue that the structures beneath the surface are actually natural formations created by the cooling of volcanic lava, not the work of humans. According to them, the only part showing signs of human construction is the top layer of stone terraces, which is only a few thousand years old. In contrast, supporters of the newer studies claim that the clear symmetry, consistent alignment, and presence of underground walls indicate a deliberately crafted structure. Each excavation season brings new data, sometimes contradictory, leaving the mystery of Gunung Padang not only unresolved, but even deeper than before. Gunung Padang is not merely an ancient cluster of stones lying quietly atop a hill. It is like an open question about human history, forcing us to ask ourselves, have we truly understood the starting point of civilization? If its purpose were ever deciphered, many chapters of history might need to be rewritten. If not, it will continue to stand there like a fossilized memory in stone, awaiting future generations to uncover the answer. Standing on the summit of Gunung Padang, with the wind whistling through its stone crevices and sunlight casting a golden hue over the hills, one can feel the strange blend of grandeur and mystery. Did the ancients choose this place for a monumental reason, far beyond the comprehension of their time, or is it simply the remnant of rituals long forgotten? Whatever the answer, Gunung Padang continues to stir curiosity and drive humanity to seek the truth, and perhaps that is its greatest allure. Located in the far north of Russia, the Yamal Peninsula has long been called the edge of Siberia. It is a place of endless snowfields, skin-cutting winds, and permafrost extending tens of meters underground. This land is famous for strange geological phenomena, from massive sinkholes that appear without warning to mammoth carcasses found almost perfectly preserved in ice. Yet hidden among the white expanses lies a lesser-known mystery, the swallowed crypt, an ancient tomb almost completely devoured by frozen earth, leaving archaeologists with only a few scattered clues and countless unanswered questions. What do you think might be hidden inside the swallowed crypt? Share your theories or speculations in the comments below. Who knows, your idea might open a new path to solving this mystery. The first survey records of this area emerged in the late 20th century, when an expedition of geologists and archaeologists, guided by the local Nenets people, ventured deep into the frozen, desolate wilderness of the Yamal Peninsula. The Nenets recounted an age-old tale about the place from which the dead never return, a site regarded as a sacred forbidden zone that nomadic tribes avoided at all costs. Upon arrival, the team was confronted with an unusually deep depression surrounded by large stones stacked in a strange manner, as if they had once formed the entrance to an ancient structure. The frigid air combined with an eerie stillness made every sound seem distant. Most of the structure had sunk deep into the permafrost, leaving only a few sections of stone wall protruding above the ground, bearing carvings, worn and faded by time. These scant remnants not only hinted at a vanished civilization, but also stirred a cascade of unanswered questions. The Yamal Peninsula lies entirely within the permafrost zone, where earth and ice fuse into a solid mass, yet change constantly under the harsh rhythm of winter and summer. Each summer, deep layers of ice beneath the ground begin to melt, triggering the phenomenon known as ground ice collapse, when the foundation slowly hollows out and the entire surface above sinks. This process has taken place silently over centuries, gradually swallowing ancient structures that once stood firmly above ground. For the swallowed crypt, the impact was not sudden but relentless, sealing its entire entrance beneath meters of frozen earth and ice. Satellite images captured over time reveal a stark transformation. An area once elevated and marked by traces of human construction is now reduced to a cold, lifeless sinkhole, filled with deep snow and solid ice. Such unforgiving conditions have turned any attempt to access the interior into a near-impossible mission. The discoveries made on the outskirts of the crypt site have deepened the mystery more than ever. Archaeologists have collected a number of seemingly unrelated artifacts that raise major questions: finely crafted copper jewelry featuring meticulous casting and engraving techniques, stone blades sharpened to a degree that still retains their edge after centuries, and most strikingly, carved stone slabs with motifs entirely unlike any artistic style of the indigenous cultures of Siberia. The presence of these artifacts suggests the possible existence of a group from elsewhere, bringing with them their own techniques and aesthetic sensibilities, and constructing this structure in such a harsh land. The questions: who were they, where did they come from, and why choose Yamal, still hang in the air with no theory able to provide a definitive answer. The Nenets, native inhabitants of the peninsula, tell legends that strikingly match the site. They speak of a house of giants deep underground, sealed by the ice god. According to oral tradition, anyone attempting to enter would be buried forever under snow and ice. While just a legend, the overlap between these stories and the reality of a tomb consumed by permafrost gives many people chills. What makes the swallowed crypt one of the greatest archaeological enigmas is that almost no one truly knows what it contains. There are no detailed maps, no photographs taken from within the structure. All humanity has are a few scattered artifacts found around the site. This lack of concrete data has given rise to countless conflicting theories. Some researchers believe it may be the burial place of a powerful ancient tribal leader built on a grand scale with elaborate funerary rituals to assert authority. Others suggest the structure was not merely a tomb, but also a repository for ceremonial objects or even a treasure hoard from a vanished culture sealed away by ice for millennia. The less information there is, the more captivating the mystery becomes, leaving the scientific community both challenged and haunted, as each clue found seems to raise more questions than it answers. The greatest barrier in the quest to explore the swallowed crypt is the extreme natural environment almost impossible to overcome. Winters in Yamal last for many months, with temperatures frequently dropping below 40 degrees Celsius, accompanied by winds as sharp and biting as knives, turning any archaeological work into a test of survival. Even in summer, when the weather is more forgiving, the permafrost begins to thaw, creating muddy, unstable ground with the constant risk of sudden collapses. Excavating into permafrost not only requires specialized drilling and cutting technology capable of withstanding extreme cold, but also carries the risk of damaging the structure and any artifacts inside. Every step toward the site must be calculated with utmost care, as even the smallest mistake could mean losing the chance to ever uncover the secrets hidden within. In an attempt to uncover the secrets of the swallowed crypt, several research teams have proposed using modern technology such as ground-penetrating radar and 3D scanning devices to map the structure beneath the ice. However, the results have been far from promising. The return signals were faint and distorted by the complex interweaving of ice soil and rock layers, making it nearly impossible to reconstruct the overall shape. Multiple tests conducted in different seasons still produced fragmented results insufficient to determine the scale or layout of the interior. This has not only left the scientific community at a standstill, but has also heightened the site's allure. It lies directly beneath the observer's feet, yet seems to belong to another world, one where time and ice conspire to seal away every answer. From what is known, the swallowed crypt is both proof of nature's destructive power and a symbol of the perseverance archaeologists must have when confronting the mysteries of the far north. Perhaps one day, technology and conditions will allow humanity to open the door that has been shut for millennia. Until then, the Yamal tomb remains an unanswered question, where every stone, every folktale suggests we have only touched the tip of a colossal secret. In the blazing heart of Australia's Northern Territory, a colossal red monolith rises from the earth like a guardian of forgotten ages. This is Uluṟu, or Ayers Rock, a place where stone and spirit are inseparably bound. For the Anangu people, who have called this land home for tens of thousands of years, Uluṟu is not just a landmark, but the living heart of their world. Carved by time and guarded by tradition, its caves shelter the Uluṟu cave paintings, ancient visions etched in mineral pigments layered with the myths of creation, the footsteps of ancestors, and the sacred laws that bind all life. Step inside, and you cross a threshold into a realm where art is not mere decoration, but a map to the soul of a culture. What do you think gives the Uluṟu cave paintings their blend of artistic beauty and mysterious spiritual power that has endured for thousands of years? Share your thoughts in the comments below. In Anangu culture, the paintings within Uluṟu's caves do not exist merely as works of art to be admired, but as part of Dogū, the system of ancestral lore creation stories and spiritual maps guiding how people live in harmony with nature. Dogū not only recounts the origins of the world, but also defines the relationships between humans, animals, plants, and the land. Every brushstroke, every symbol, and every hue carries multiple layers of meaning, sometimes serving as ritual instructions, other times as mythic narratives. These meanings are preserved through oral tradition and can only be fully interpreted by the elders. The symbols in the Uluṟu paintings carry profound abstraction, requiring the observer to understand the indigenous cultural thought system in order to decode them. Concentric circles may represent both precious water sources in the desert and communal gathering places. Stylized footprints not only depict the journeys of animals, but also symbolize the travels of ancestral beings in Crypt mythology. Flowing curved lines may evoke rivers, sand dunes, or ancient pathways connecting sacred lands. This simplification of form, while rich in suggestion, makes it difficult for outsiders to fully grasp the meaning, leaving a realm of mystery that modern science has only begun to scratch the surface of. One of the most distinctive features of the Uluṟu cave paintings is their continuity over time. They were not created and then abandoned. Rather, over many generations, the Anangu people have returned to paint over, add to, or restore older images. Each painting thus becomes a layered record, preserving traces of hundreds, even thousands of years of history and collective memory. New lines drawn over ancient symbols are not meant to erase the past, but to extend the story of the ancestors, a way of continuing the writing through visual language, linking the past with the present. The colors in the Uluṟu paintings are created from natural minerals, each hue carrying both aesthetic value and deep symbolic meaning. Red from iron oxide in the desert soil not only evokes vitality and connection to Mother Earth, but also symbolizes blood, the life force that nourishes all beings. White from kaolin clay is often associated with purity, light, or the spirit world. Yellow from limonite recalls the sun warmth and cycles of renewal. Black from charcoal conveys notions of darkness, night, and secret rituals. This combination of colors is no accident. It is a language that conveys cultural and spiritual messages through every brushstroke. An important feature of the Uluṟu cave paintings is their strict hierarchy and restricted access. Not every painting is meant for everyone. Some images appear only during men's initiation ceremonies, others belong solely to the secret knowledge of women, and many are completely off-limits to outsiders. These restrictions serve not only to protect the heritage, but also to preserve the spiritual connection between the community and their ancestors. Their deeper meanings are usually passed down orally by the elders, never written down, keeping this knowledge both sacred and mysterious. Studying the symbols in the Uluṟu paintings presents many challenges for scientists, as they are not a code that can be deciphered through a universal language, but fragments of a unique cosmology. In the Anangu worldview, time does not flow linearly from past to future, but moves in a circle, where past, present, and future coexist and interact. As a result, the symbols do not tell stories in a clear sequential order, like in Western culture, but are connected in an interwoven network of meanings, requiring the interpreter to have deep knowledge of indigenous wisdom and spirituality. The natural setting of Uluṟu plays a crucial role in shaping the spiritual meaning of its paintings. This massive sandstone monolith, nearly 350 meters high and 3.6 kilometers long, stands alone in the vast desert, its red hue shifting constantly with the light of day and the changing seasons. At sunrise or sunset, the entire rock seems to ignite in a sea of light, creating an almost otherworldly scene. It is within the cool, dark hollows deep inside that the paintings slowly reveal themselves, a place where the boundary between the outer world and the inner world becomes one. Many researchers believe that this physical space is inseparable from the spiritual dimension of the art found here. The paintings in the Uluṟu Caves also preserve valuable traces of the ancient environment of Central Australia's desert. Many depict animal species that are now extinct or no longer found in the area, such as dingoes in their original wild form, or giant birds that once lived under climatic conditions very different from today. These visual records help scientists partially reconstruct the ecological landscape that has transformed over thousands of years. Today, Uluṟu and its surrounding caves are strictly protected. Many painted areas are off-limits, with photography and filming prohibited to honor Anangu laws. Visitors are encouraged to listen to local guides rather than treat the art as a static museum exhibit. This reflects a vital principle: indigenous art cannot be separated from the cultural and spiritual context that created it. Standing before the Uluṟu cave paintings, one does not simply see art, it is a doorway into an ancient world view where humans' nature and the spirit world interlace. Each symbol feels both familiar footprints, animals, the sun, and distant ritual meanings, ancestral laws, metaphysical connections. This interplay between what we can visually recognize and what we cannot fully decode creates the irresistible mystery of the Uluṟu cave paintings. Even though modern science can analyze pigments, determine ages, or reconstruct painting sequences, there remains a layer of meaning only the Anangu hold. And perhaps that is what makes the Uluṟu cave paintings timeless, not because we have understood them entirely, but because our curiosity and desire to understand have never ceased.